It's Bill again. And you know, holidays coming up, and I'm trying to crunch together a bunch of recipes for you. And I was thinking, so usually Thanksgiving, Christmas were spent with my grandparents. My grandmother did some real old school classic kind of stuff. And one of them that was kind of boring. Oh, by the way, she didn't have a sense of smell, so she didn't know what things taste like that she made. You know, so everything was by taste. Oh, the oven's up temperature. So you know, she knew the sweet and sour. You know, and a couple other sensories, but basically things were different. But I had always wanted to do this recipe of scalloped potatoes, but I wanted to do it kind of with a twist, a little more flavor, a little more pizzazz. And so I'm going to kind of reach into the treasure trove of recipes that I know from when I was a kid and see if we can't make it a little more modern. So, first thing I've got the oven at 375 as you heard, and I've got my baking dish that I've buttered, and it's sitting here. And so kind of the key to this whole thing is you can make this in like a 13 by 9 pan, but I always like the presentation of doing it in a big baking dish, like a Dutch oven type thing. And the ceramic really holds the heat. I don't know, that's what I remember, and I'm going to show you how it all kind of comes together. Alright, so we're going to start off with the fact that I have a 1/4 cup or half a stick of butter in here, and it's nice and melted, and I got some garlic. Garlic, what a concept. Well, this really is going to add to it, okay? I think in the long run, you're going to see that this is good flavor. Happy times. I don't want to, you notice like I'm not trying to saute onions, and I don't have it all jumping around in the pan. Got a nice kind of little gentle thing going on here. I need this. Alright. Turn down just a little more. Alright, perfect. So while we're getting that garlic softened, and I mean, I'm not too concerned about it because this is going to bake a long time. I just want to get some handy dandy black pepper in here. Some people argue that, you know, they don't want to see black speckles. Well, that ain't going to be the problem in this recipe. Trust me. Okay. And I like doing this in kind of a, you know, a big pan, so we got some room to move. Like I said, I just want to get this garlic a little softened up here before we get too crazy. That's only going to take a minute or so. Then, I love flavor profile, right? I mean, I talk about it all the time, and y'all think I'm probably pretty crazy. I can't believe I'm saying this, I have freeze-dried herbs. But it really works out better for this, okay? Trust me. So I have half a teaspoon of thyme and half a teaspoon of basil I'm going to put in here. Yeah, we get some nice fresh herbs. Oh yeah. Alright. I talk about this all the time. I want a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Now the garlic is done in essence, so I'm really just flavoring things up. That's a tablespoon. Keep everything going warm. That smells good enough to eat right there, okay? I'm just saying. Alright, so now I have 3 tablespoons of flour, okay? trying to get it all out. Normally I wouldn't, you know, if I'm just cooking at home, I just have a big old canister of flour here, but try and make this speed it up a little bit. Okay. So, you know, tiny little circles. Get the flour all nice and mixed in. So I'm thinking so far, you either think I'm crazy or that this is going to work. All right. So now I have 4 cups of whole milk. I'm going to bump up the heat a little bit because I know that milk just came out of the fridge and it's going to cool things down. I don't want to get this too cool. But I don't want to bubble it away either, you know. Don't want to scorch it all on the bottom. We're just going to do some nice gentle work here. I'm going to start off, you know, as you can see, about half a cup at a time. Just work gently. I have my whisk here on standby in case of emergency. So, if you ever put onion in your scalloped potatoes, you're probably like, yeah, why aren't you sauteing it? Well, because really, I don't need to do that. I am going to put onion in. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that my way. I'm going to do it my way. Okay. Got some really good stuff going on here now. It looks like I got about a cup in here so far. Just keeping everything happy and smooth. It's funny how cold stuff really will drop the temperature quick. People have a tendency to try and overcompensate and get that fire just going under their pan. It is a little trickier with electric stoves. I know. I spent my whole life cooking with electric stoves, and I used to curse about that. Now there's induction and all that, so kind of do a better job. Still staying nice and thick. Got a whole cup now, see how talented I am. And this really does smell good. Okay, I'm going to keep telling that because that's going to be what makes you try this. Now we want that thickening. We want to get that flour kind of cooked down. So we want just to start to see some bubbles because I think I'm about, yep, exactly 2 cups left. I wasn't even looking. I got that pegged. On scale, you just want to get it up temperature. My grandma would be like, what are you doing? Ruining a perfectly good recipe. And why would you want garlic and scalloped potatoes? Like I said, patience is a virtue. Once you get your roux going, you'll be fine. seeing it get nice and toasty now. And it's really thickening up, so I know it's good. Kind of hard to distinguish the little chunks of garlic. I minced it up pretty fine, but I look in and I'm like, oh goodness, there's clumps of flour. No clumps here. Bring the temperature down a little bit too, so I put about another half a cup in. It's starting to feel pretty toasty in there. I'm not completely against freeze-dried herbs, and they're just sometimes you can't get fresh, but you know, sometimes it's kind of like for show that you want when you're cutting fresh herbs, because you're never going to get them as small as this. And really, I don't want to be chewing on tree branches when I'm eating my potatoes. And I never understood as a kid, yes, there are no scallops in scalloped potatoes. So I was kind of leery of that when I was a kid. Being from up north, of course, where people still, you know, used to make oyster stuffing, so, you know, there's a big crossover. And we always had shrimp cocktail with our dinners, for holiday dinners. Just about another cup, and we got another cup to go, and this will all be good. Oh, look, voila. Now I just want to get this really hot again because I got to melt some cheese in here. So that's really what my goal is now. And it's really handy. A thick bottom pan is really going to help you. If you don't have, you know, if you're using like aluminum pans, you can always grab a heat diffuser, especially if you're using gas. I keep one on my stove all the time because I cook with glass cookware sometimes, and I just don't trust putting glass cookware on an open flame. But they make all sorts of different types of diffusers. Almost works as good as a double boiler in some cases, which is funny because I'm going to use my double boiler very shortly to show you a really great recipe of mine. Now I don't think anyone really owns double boilers anymore, but you know, my mom had one. She gave me one when I was 20, I think, and I kind of use it just as in memory of. But you can also make sure you have some kind of bowl, metal bowl that fits nicely in one of your cooking dishes. So you just put a little water in the bottom, make your own double boiler. Alright, I see everything's nice and toasty. It's up to temperature. Smells really good. So I try to do a lot of different things so that some things you're going to like, some things you're not. What you don't like, don't make. Unless you really want to try something new. Be daring. Be brave. Okay. I think we're really there. So some of the stuff is great because you make it up ahead of time, because this is a little fussy whenever you're dealing with roux. So I want to make sure it's good. Just get the right thickness so it's all going to cook together. There's steam rising now, so I know we're right there. Garlic, thyme, basil. Okay. So here we go. Let's finish this off. So try to stick with the times. Now cheese, for some reason, comes in all sorts of different weights. But I want to start with some Swiss cheese, and now it comes in 5 ounce. So guess what? I made the recipe with 5 ounce. It'll work. Which is a cup and a quarter. I got half a cup of really good fresh grated Parmesan Reggiano cheese. Now we're going to just get this started here. And last but not least, I got a cup of cheddar. This is just a combination of different cheddars. Do what you like. My grandmother probably would have said, oh, sharp cheddar's the only thing, you know. Extra sharp. Alright. So let's get this nice and stirred up. Now, I want to get this turned off because it's going to hold a lot of heat for a while. I want to make sure it's happy all the way. Just going to stir it till it, all that cheese is melting. Oh goodness gracious, this really smells even better now. I love the smell of Swiss and Parmesan. I think the cheddar is more kind of a texture thing. Kind of smooths it out. Just want to set that aside. Caution, that is a very hot burner. It's turned off, but you know, you want to be careful of that. Alright, so back to my pan, or my baking dish that I buttered. So, you could use Yukon Gold. I used russets, just because my grandmother would have used russets and anything else would have been criminal, so alright, I'll use russet potatoes. But Yukon Gold would be fine. And all I did was cut up and just kind of cut in half an onion and then kind of slivered it, you know. I do want a little of that flavor coming through. So what we're going to do here, first of all, I'm going to just take a little bit, kind of make a bottom layer. Do as much as you want or don't want. So why I like to layer with the onion, keep the potato from sticking together, cooking together, you know. But anyway, so I've been soaking the potatoes in ice water, kind of get some of that starch out of them and keep them happy so they don't get all funky. And you know, I peeled them, and if you're, you know, someone made a suggestion that I have to agree with. If you're not comfortable, you know, cutting up a whole bunch of something, you know, it's kind of a nice skill, because these are pretty consistent size. Mandolins are great. I like using, I don't own one, but I think they really are a time saver. Just don't buy a really cheap one that you're going to regret, because it's not going to help you. You want something that's pretty sturdy, very adjustable, and man, you can sit there all day long. And just be careful in the beginning, because it's also a good way to cut a finger if you don't use the little guard. So now I've got a layer of potato. And this is, see, if you're a 13 by 9 pan, you can't do all these layers. I'm going to grab me a bigger handful of onion. And this is all going to cook for so long. And I probably have too much onion here, but I was just cutting up a whole one, so I knew I had enough. So I wouldn't be embarrassed, run out. Just shake off some of that excess water. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to hurt anything. I could tell by the time I got to cutting that last one, my knife skills were getting kind of sloppy. Some of these are a little thick, some of them are maybe a little too thin too. Another reason a mandolin's good. So, you know, when you peel the potatoes, use a decent peeler. Make sure that, you know, you cut out any big eyes or anything. If there's just a little piece of skin, so be it. It's not going to hurt anything. Here's a piece of skin right there. Not going to hurt anything. Gives it that kind of rustic, cool look, you know, like you really made it. It's not from a package, like Pringles potato chips. Not sure what that's all about. Not sure they're real potatoes. Alright, one more layer. I'm going to fill this up with potato. And you, like I said, you want about 2 pounds of potato. I went just a little crazy because lately I've been having some potatoes that I have to cut ends off. So I might have a little too much, but we'll know shortly here. Like I said, I just like the presentation of having this nice dish. And this dish, I think, is older than I am. It's an original corning with the corn flour, or whatever it is. Alright. So I want my last layer to be all potatoes. So I've got one more little handful of onion here. I like onion, so it's okay. This is a Vidalia, it's a sweet onion. It's not a cooking onion, so it's not going to have any real tartness to it. So one of the things I really like about when I came with this recipe, and it took me a while to figure out, is that you don't parboil the potatoes. My grandmother never did. You just cook them forever. Because I find if you parboil the potatoes, it really affects the kind of the texture of them, and they're harder to either, you know, peel or slice. And I just want to make sure we got this pretty good. Yeah. Want lots of nice air spaces in there, so I'll just pour right through and make it all happy. Yeah, if you ever look at recipes, just about everyone says you need to parboil the potatoes when you do this. That's because they want a cooking time of like half an hour. And believe it or not, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the oven. We're going to steam these potatoes till they're done, so it's an hour. Then we're going to take the lid off, back in the oven for another half hour. Remember, we're at 375, so pretty toasty oven. So let's just get this sauce poured in here. This looks really good. Smells really good. It's going to be fun. And any of these little potatoes that are sticking up, they're kind of fun because guess what? They're going to get that crunchy to them. We do that last half hour, and that's kind of the fun thing. So last but not least, I got one more cup of cheese. Just want to make a nice little last little layer. And I like the different colors, kind of like, it looks pretty when it's all done. So remember, lid on. If you don't have a pan with a lid, cover with tin foil. In the oven, 1 hour. Don't peek. It needs to be in there a solid hour to get the potatoes all nice and steamed and softened. And then we're going to lid off half an hour. I'm going to show you what it looks like after an hour though, when I take the lid off. And I'll make you really, really hungry then. Alright, so I'm going to see you back in an hour. Alright, I'm waiting. It's going to beep here in a second. It's been an hour. I think that it's going to be a real pleasant surprise. This is my, word of caution. This stuff is very hot. So make sure you have good mitts. Don't have, if your mitts get wet, it'll make steam, really, really burn yourself. So be very careful when handling these really hot pots. Alright, so I have this lovely, beautiful, bubbly, scrumptious. That's going to boil for a while there. Alright. That's why I put this here. And what I want to do is I just want to take my spatula and make sure, go around the edge, make sure everything's good, nothing's stuck. Remember, this was the part that cooked the potatoes. And the potatoes are definitely cooked, okay? Oh. If you could smell it now. Yeah, potatoes. Got a little piece of potato here. I definitely need about like 150 degrees cooler, maybe 300 degrees cooler. Just want to test it. It's definitely done. That's really cool. So now, we're going back in the oven. It's really good. Garlic's really calm. The basil and the thyme has really added some depth to it. Yeah, it's really good. So remember, we want to put it back in. We just want to get this sauce kind of baked down a little bit. Should take about a half hour on our 375. Just keep checking it until it's, the way you want it. So I'm going to put it back in, and I'm going to see you back here, and I'm going to show you what it looks like in the end. Alright, so we had an hour in the oven, took the lid off, another half hour. The potatoes were tender, as I tried. So we're going to see what this looks like. Now, this is really creamy, cheesy scalloped potatoes, so it's kind of different. I want to get some potatoes here. I always say, I wish you could smell this. I got myself a little chive, a little decoration here. honestly, the potatoes are perfect. This is something that's really great because you don't have to worry about it. Literally, I've had this out of the oven for 15 minutes and it's still so hot. So that's why I really like these baking dishes. You know, when you use if you use a 13 by 9, you're going to run into that problem. It's going to cool down, especially if you have a big party. But this will definitely maintain heat, lots of heat. And I'm really drooling. I think that this is something really fun and different to do for the holidays as a side. And it's just kind of woke up because we don't want, we don't want boring food all the way around, This is just with the, the garlic and the cheese and the basil and the thyme really add some flavor. So anyway, so that I can dig into this, I just want to say I really hope you enjoy the holidays. I've got more coming, but I want you to obviously try this stuff, get in the kitchen, have fun, watch the Publix ad, the daughter making the stuffing and how great that ad is. But anyway, I want you to subscribe to my channel. I want you to comment, hit the notification bell so you get all these. But all in all, like I always say, do something, get everyone together, get in the kitchen. Can't mess it up too bad. I make mistakes sometimes, but it still tastes great if you got the right idea. And enjoy, okay? Have a great day, and I'll have more videos.